Hello, everybody.
Some say I'm a dissident, but I'm just a citizen, all filling in as a filament, shedding some light on the innocent. Ever since MM came out, that's all I think about. Oh, for me now there is no doubt that the 2 million I said they're innocent. I said they're innocent. I said they're innocent. See, from the start now the trap was set. Do we have Stephen Avery in custody yet? Go as shit now, you can bet. They're sticking to the story like a hood lad sweat. No one got displaying Jupiter's delight. You got Ryan, can't tell you if it's day or night. Pam of God, now the camera lit. Everybody knows that they're innocent. I said they're innocent. Anti-Cold drone cabinets around. We got cadaver dogs on quarry bound on top of concrete, dust covered ground. 3 months later, the bullet's found. And every time I try to make sense, it seems the state spoon round with the evidence. Giving bones back, keeping CDs. What about the RAVs? Maybe one, maybe two. Maybe green, maybe blue. But it don't matter. It's irrelevant, cause they're innocent. No, they're innocent.
All right, that's one of Stacy's new ones. I encourage everybody to go over his channel and check out his new Barn Studio version of that song, "They're Innocent." It's brilliant. It's great. Got into the studio with Mark Atkinson, and they tuned that sucker up. So, all right, that's probably why we have Rock and Robin here today. So, hello everybody, here I am. So mainly today is just going to be whatever, round robin. I'm going to talk a lot about, well, for instance, Stacy, which we just started out with. I encourage everybody to go over and check out Stacy. He's been in the studio recently. He's got some new Barn Studio versions, and I really think They're Innocent. It's catchy. I think it's going to be a hit for him. It's going to be a popular one for him. So I love that one. Anyways, you guys want to go over and check out Stacy's stuff, make sure you go do so. Lots of people out there that are sticking with it and doing a lot of work. Like over on Linda K Listening. I was over there just the other day, and I saw the behind the whatever it is, like a documentary that was done about Taylor. I forget, the guy's last name is Taylor. He's the dude that was first exonerated and began the downfall of Devers, who you guys will all remember from The Staircase from Michael Peterson. So this guy Taylor, look at his first name, might have been Greg, but anyway, Taylor, he ended up getting wrongfully convicted. He got it finally reversed eventually in the end. And it was because Devers had claimed something about evidence that it wasn't, and so it started the whole downfall of Devers, where it showed that he was, being dishonest. Anyway, so I got to watch that thing and see the whole story behind that guy, and whoa, wow, is that a story? Is there a lot going on there? Holy crud, man. The guy, Taylor, was like, had a serious crack addiction. And it was because of that crack addiction that it's a main part of how he ended up being suspected of this. Ended up being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and then because he was so wrapped up in his addiction that he didn't address things properly, and he ended up becoming the suspect. And anyways, it's a mess, but it was interesting to see, so I was thankful to Linda for uploading that. Hey Travis. Hey Jamie, what's up, buddy? Hey, Al Fallon. When will the alternative doc be released? Anyway, I don't know. I imagine he's still making it. And not only that, Rec may be running into a problem where he thought maybe going in that he was going to find more evidence that backed up the state and made the state look more solid. And he may be now going, yeah, that's kind of not surfacing. So he may be in a dilemma, possibly. I don't know. That's speculation on my part, but could be, possibly. How's it going, everybody? Hoping the new filing goes well. I'm so tired of listening to the state right now. Yeah. Actually, there's nothing to listen to. The state doesn't talk. The state doesn't say anything. That's the whole problem. They clamming up and they don't say anything. If they were to talk, they would be stepping on their, Johnsons. And then, and that's why they're not talking. By staying silent, they don't give anybody anything to use against them. So let me go back up and scroll through here. So it's going to be kind of just a little mishmash video here. It's like I'm going to go ahead and let you guys table a topic if you want. We can talk about. Hang around for, 45 minutes to an hour. Trying to keep them shorter now just so that because I usually get, like, in the hour that I'm broadcasting, I usually get anywhere from 100 to 250 views. Most of the time. Sometimes on an extraordinary video, I'll get 300 to 400 in about an hour and a half period or so. But the idea is that I want to keep them a little bit shorter so that people that find the videos later, after they're already broadcast, will not be like, oh God, it's 2 or 3 hours. You know what I mean? So just for anybody that might have been wondering about that, that's why I'm trying to keep them a little shorter. Alright, let's see here. State has a version of swapping stories and telling lies. Well, definitely. They told 2 different stories of how this murder occurred in 2 separate trials. Can you explain why Judge Suck at this came up with the idea that law broken about the bones, and then she said that the broken law doesn't meet the burden of proof? She's saying that Stephen isn't meeting his burden of proof. She was basically, and this is why she was being criticized. Like Rule Griffin made a song where he said ADA Sukowitz, right? Because that's what she was doing. In her decision, she wasn't acting like a judge and making a judgment or a decision. She was actually like making arguments for the state. She was acting as an assistant district attorney in her decision. And that is probably going to get some attention, in my mind. So, yeah, I mean, to me, that's why. And then, like I said, she's saying that they didn't meet the burden of proof. Like, she's saying that it's not proven that they're Teresa's bones. That's basically the argument she made. And then she went on to say, because the state gave back animal bones. So she went ahead and co-signed that the Hallbox received animal bones and were told that it was their daughter. They were told that it was Teresa. I have a question. Okay, Kimberly, go ahead. I missed a lot. What's going on with the bones? Oh, good Lord. What do you mean by a lot? What do I need to explain exactly? Because, there's so much crap around the bones. That's one of the reasons why that the bones moved. There were shady dealings with them because it's just always a mess around the bones. Can we talk about and get your opinion, Erekose, the fact that people believe TH is not dead? Yeah, I suppose. Look, there are those people that believe Teresa Hallbach is not dead. I personally don't believe that myself. Um, having said that, it doesn't mean that I'm not open to the possibility of it. I've kind of gone down a rabbit hole in this direction one time, in the possibility that Teresa was alive. And it was very interesting, the little trip down that rabbit hole. There was a lot of interesting things that turned up, and there was a lot of circumstantially compelling things that gave cause to believe that Teresa was living somewhere in Canada and as a different person and had a family now and all that sort of stuff. Ultimately, in the end, I came to the conclusion that it wasn't her. And for me, that was kind of the end of my really wanting to entertain the idea that Teresa's alive. I believe there is proof there that Teresa is no longer with us. My bone to pick is where did that evidence originate? Because I do not believe that evidence originated in Stephen Avery's burn pit. And that is where we run into trouble here. So ultimately, I believe Teresa is dead, and I kind of agree with like Professor Drizzen and those sort of people that believe it's kind of disrespectful to the victim's family to say things like she's alive. Kind of agree with that line of thinking myself. So hopefully that lets you know where I stand on that. Let's see here. After binge watching again and listening to the theory about them saying the car is here, I think they were looking at the car when the guy reported seeing the car on the side. I think that's entirely possible. That phone call with Colburn is strange because, number one, it's not from his patrol car. It's from his own cell phone, and just interesting. So much is interesting about that. It's, what's the general opinion of Teresa being alive? Roll the bone away, let freedom ring. I believe TH is dead. And I also believe that KZ believes that TH is dead. She does. Well, you all got your Amazon packages on time. Does anyone have bones? We'll assume she's dead until it's proven otherwise. Yeah, that's basically how I feel. Until I see actual, real, good, solid proof that she's alive, I'm really just not really willing to entertain that. People believe that people believe that TH are dead are typically conspiracy minded, but not much behind it. From the legal side of things, it is a non-issue. Lights went out, just came back, so I missed it. Oh, hey Linda, you missed the part where I was talking about you. You're gonna have to go back and watch it. The other thing is, when Ken Kratz is asked what his most convincing piece of evidence, and he says it's the sweat DNA under the hood latch, it's such a weak piece of evidence. It shows how weak his entire case is. Absolutely. And the hood latch is so ridiculous because look what it's being proven to be now. It's too much DNA. Also, the swab is very, very, very slightly discolored, as if maybe it was rubbed in a groin or something like that, right? And just slightly discolored instead of having black from the carbon underneath a hood, a high mileage car hood, right? So, hey Stacy, what's up, buddy? He didn't do anything, Linda. I was telling people how I was very intrigued to watch that documentary about Mr. Taylor over on your channel. Keep seeing pictures of barrels, and then here that there were only 2, then pictures of more. It's so confusing. I'm going to potentially be going over that in the next video I'm doing, the next evidence against Stephen Avery video. I actually was working on that a little bit this weekend, pulling pictures and things together for it. And so there'll be in that video, I'm going to go over some of the odd things happening with the burn barrels for everybody to see that I think are interesting. So we're just waiting until October 7th. KZ put out a tweet today where she acknowledged that it's due on October 7th and not October 10th. So let's make sure everybody understands that. It's due on October 7th. Anyway, I was just giving you a plug there, Linda, so people could come over and see you. Another thing, folks, to look forward to coming up here pretty soon is Miss Fenn. We love her. You guys will remember her from Mammothon Rally, hashtag 80 More Things. Yeah, she's starting her podcast, and it's called 80 More Things Podcast. So that is exciting for me. I love Fenn. She's awesome. And she's got that smooth radio voice. So she's got that real smooth, perfect voice for podcasting and stuff. So I love it. She's really knowledgeable about the case. So I am really excited for her in this podcast. Hope you guys will all tune in. I'm going to be on one. And there are some more interesting guests lined up to be on her podcast. So hopefully everybody's going to be able to go over and check that out. How long did TH go to the SA place of business to take pictures at SA Salvage Yard? It was at least, I think it was like at least 4 or 5 months. And she had taken it over from a previous lady who it looks like worked for the DOJ, which is really odd. Teresa did go to the Averys many times while she was working for Auto Trader. I bet Laura Nyrider feels like she missed the opportunity to tell the judge the reason they needed to convict Brendan was to bury Steven. She did such a great job. I hope she doesn't. Yeah, and that's basically what KZ says as well. KZ makes the same, I was just watching MAM again the other day, and I was just watching that part where KZ talks about, she's like, the move there was not to downplay it or whatever and say, no, judge, that whatever. The thing to do there was to say, no, they needed to get a confession out of him because they wanted it to help them in their case against his uncle. And that's what the same exact criticism KZ made. So it could be, it could be that would make a difference. Maybe not. I think those judges, I think even Judge Hamilton, I think he looks at that confession and I think he has issues with it. But he's such, he just follows along with AEDPA so blindly that he couldn't get over that hump, I think these guys knew the score, but they were just willing to back AEDPA, so. With the cows. So yeah, and and folks, go over and check out Paul Capaldi right now, dude. Guy is just like, he's putting out some very interesting stuff, and he has a theory right now that YouTube commenter, MAM commenter, Charles Darwin, he's he's got this. He's got a pretty strong theory at the moment that may be King Kratz. So I encourage y'all to go over to check out Paul's channel. But he's also doing some very other thought-provoking videos recently. And it's been very interesting. He's getting a lot of praise in the comment sections of his videos. So it looks like Paul's really starting to kind of step up and step into his game there. So I encourage everybody to go check him out. I like Paul reporting live from my sofa over there. He's great. He's very entertaining. I don't follow all the cases that he does, but I don't follow all the cases that he does. But he's got a lot of passion for the true crime genre. He's a fairly charismatic guy, and he's a lot of fun to listen to. So I encourage people to go check out Reporting Live from My Sofa. His name is Paul. And also Alan, and she is, oh shoot, what's the name of her channel? Linda, do you know? I think it's Coffee and Crime. Am I right? Hey, Millbilly, how you doing, buddy? Toxic Bliss. That's what it is. So go check out Alan. I forgot that because now I'm remembering her emblem. Go check out Alan over at Toxic Bliss. There's a lot of people out there doing some good stuff, and so it's great to see, because I want the presence of people who are picking apart the Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey cases. I want the presence of them to just become more and more profound. I want it to be inescapable. I want it to be where the people, the bad actors in this, every time they turn around, they're faced with the questions. That's what I want. At least one judge got a chance to make Fassbender feel the shame when she said how the detectives made her skin crawl. At least they are all exposed, even though, dude, there's so much that the dissenting judges did in this, guys. Look, if you go through the dissenting judge's decision, there's even a point in there where Judge Wood creates a diagram of all of the most damning information that Brendan supposedly gave in the confession, and she makes up a diagram, the statement, who it was with, and then where he got it prior to saying it himself, and a lot of them were from the investigators themselves. And she made a diagram showing how all these things didn't come from Brendan unprompted. That these were all things that he knew about or that were fed to him, and she lays it out in a diagram in part of her dissent. It's brilliant. Every expert I have ever seen or heard has said the confession is bogus. Absolutely. Hi, Lilypad. I would love to hear what you say about this, Erekose. If any member of your family was on trial, especially your own brother, and you were a witness for the prosecution, that means you want the knife. Oh, pointed away from you. Oh, I suppose. Okay, I see where you're drifting there. Yeah, that's one way to interpret it. Could be that I saw my brother do it. Maybe, I don't know. But that's a very perplexing dilemma. I mean, our ties, our family bonds are, anyway. Travis, I have a question for you and Erekose. Do you guys think, with all the corruption in this case, will KZ have a true chance to win Stephen Avery his freedom? Just asking because if the political crap ultimately, the way I'm going to answer first part of that, ultimately I think it's all the corruption in this case that is going to end up making it stand out and making it eventually, maybe not today, not tomorrow, but eventually it's going to make this thing stand out, and it's going to be something that people notice, and it's probably going to cause law enforcement to conduct themselves in a much different manner in the future, I think. Let's see, I'm wondering just how many people would lie. Or what would you do crazy like? Check out Foul Play on YouTube. TH was not afraid of Steven. That's true. There are some very good, solid legal issues. And so I would say that Travis is basically saying that on the merits of having some very good, solid legal issues, that it has a chance of breaking through the corruption due to that. If I'm guessing his meaning correctly there. So, got lots of exciting stuff. I mean, over there with, once again, to go back to Fen with her new podcast coming up, #AnyMoreThings. I'm pretty sure this week or next week she's going to upload the first one. And trust me, folks, as soon as I get a date from her of her when she's going to upload the first episode, I'm going to do a special show here on my channel just to promote it, because I just think it's going to be awesome. And trust me, after my dealings with some other podcasts about that deal with making a murderer, it's going to be refreshing to have somebody like Fen, doing it the way she's going to do it. So that's going to be awesome. It's so unheard of in Wisconsin for something to be remanded like that. And here it is now, twice in one case it's happened. That's got to tell you that the appeals judges, to have ordered that twice, I mean, they got to be having some ideas and some thoughts in their head, that are different, because it doesn't happen. It's happened like a handful of times in Wisconsin legal history, and then suddenly happens twice in one case. That's kind of an indicator, Not intentional that I did not say, I get that there are some solid legal issues, but with judges being corrupt, it seems that. Well, like I was just saying, Kimberly, about the Court of Appeals judges don't seem to be. Like I said, they've remanded back to the circuit court now twice, which is completely unheard of in Wisconsin. So, the Court of the appellate judges may do the right thing here, is what I'm getting at. It sounds like for them to have remanded something twice when it's unheard of to do it really at all, and they've done it twice here, that's, that tells me something. So did they get a chance to have the prosecutor's office affirm with the judge that they had an agreement to have an evidentiary hearing? Just throwing out the decision Judge Sukowitz ruled. That's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to look at what I think might happen is they may look at Judge Sukowitz's decision, the Court of Appeals, and they may look at it and go, why is the judge arguing for the state of Wisconsin here? Why are they arguing for the state? And that could be a huge red flag. And that could possibly have them remand it yet again, but to a different judge. So I'm not actually sure. And Travis, am I essentially correct in that assumption that could be a possibility? Well, that's the other thing too right now is that the judges in Wisconsin all right now have to know that even after 3 years, it has not died down. We were out there in the same numbers for rally. We are still here on social media and on YouTube, and they know we're here. They know people are watching and paying attention, and they know people are all over. It's from all over the world. It's we have a gentleman from Australia on Stephen's visiting list. They have to realize at this point that sweeping it under the rug is, well, they could try, right? They could try to sweep it under the rug and just co-sign the BS, but they know that that's just going to be embarrassing for them. They know that that's just going to be embarrassing, and it's going to cause people to call them out on their BS. So they may decide to cut the crap here. It's maybe not, but maybe they will. Hey, it's getting on 4 years now, and the attention isn't going away. Is it true that Brendan would be out by now if he had taken a plea deal? I believe the plea deal was for 20 years, so no. He still wouldn't be out now. Maybe, but I believe the plea deal would have been for 20 years, so no, he would still have time on his sentence at this point, if that had happened. I'm not sure. I do not think there's a plea deal. We need to grow as a community and all work together no matter what. Absolutely. That's absolutely what needs to happen, Millbilly. Yes, the rationale for her decision will be looked at very closely. That's Travis answering me about, is it possible that the Court of Appeals judges will look at her decision and look at the way she's arguing it like she's making arguments for the state, and could they possibly, on that alone, refer it back to the circuit courts but with a new judge? So that's what he's referring to me. That's what he's answering me there. Where can I DM you? I want to ask you something. I was wondering if they were going to look at her decision closely. I'm sure they will. I'm sure Kathleen Zellner is going to be pointing out quite a bit about it herself in her brief. Hopefully some court will do the right thing, at least sort out some of the stuff that doesn't add up. Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Do we know if there was an official hard offer to Brendan? As far as I know, there wasn't. Travis, who will be arguing a hearing for the state? If there's a hearing in circuit court, it would be Fallon and Gahn. And what's that other guy? Mark Williams. It would be with those three guys. Millbilly should be paid intern for Zellner. His channel is awesome. Oh, all right. Well, those of us here at Chopped Liver will try to do our best, No, but Millbilly's channel is good. I encourage everybody to go check it out. Sam William Henry 582, or Jamie Hart, as you see here in the chat. He often sends me Millbilly's videos. It will be the two gals from AG in the appeal court. Right. In the appeal court, it will be, yes. It will be different people in the appeal court, but if it's remanded back to a new judge into the circuit court, in the circuit court, it's going to be Fallon, Gahn, and Williams. Wisconsin will fight to the very end because a win for Avery and Brendan would be a devastating lawsuit when his first wrongful conviction is then remembered. Yeah, well, It's remembered now. It was forgotten when they ran this shite show of an investigation, but it's being remembered now, and it's coming back to bite them in the butt. And it'll be interesting to see if they can hold out, because I'll tell you what, people all over the world are very much interested in what happens in Wisconsin. Wait, who will it be in the appeals court again? It's just two lawyers that happen to be two ladies from the Attorney General's office. They're the ones that argued that Stephen was procedurally barred from bringing his due process claim and all that stuff, and that's the one where the Court of Appeals, they even suggested that he could drop his current appeal to pursue the testing issue and all that sort of stuff. The Court of Appeals was not amused with that at all, and immediately remanded it all to the circuit court for fact-finding, which didn't happen. We just got a judge acting like a district attorney or an assistant district attorney and arguing for the state instead of the lawyers for the state. So that's going to be interesting. Who do I think killed Teresa? I'm honestly not sure. Possibly Bobby, possibly Ryan, and possibly someone none of us even knows their name. Because I don't know where the original burn site was exactly. I have some ideas. I know that maybe Xander Road on November 1st is a potential one, but I don't know where it was, and there's a lot I don't know. And because there's a lot I don't know, it's hard for me to say who did it. It's hard for me to put my finger on that because the investigation skipped that. The investigation was so immediately focused on Stephen, it didn't focus on, it didn't want to recognize the shoddiness of its own evidence. They didn't want to try to explain why they were finding so little remains in what is supposed to be a primary burn site. They did not properly explain any of this. They were just blinders. It's like, no, it's in the right place. That's it. We can use that. It's in the right place. Basically, that's like the attitude. So like I said, it's because I don't know where the original burn site is. It's hard for me to be able to pinpoint the murderer. And I don't have any information of that original burn site. I don't have anything that was collected there. I have a huge, huge goose egg when it comes to that particular topic. Computer searches really bother me though. Travis, that is what I mean. People think TH is alive. Has anyone seen any explanation by the police on what happened on Cuss Road? In reference to what exactly? There were so many things that happened on Cuss Road. I think Ryan Hillegas or a stranger or unnamed person passed off in the beginning. No proof she was murdered. State's case is a lie. So clearly Millbilly's one that made believe she's alive. So there you go. Millbilly has answers to Cuss Road. Pictures on Cuss Road. Was there an explanation? Pictures of what? What were the? I'm not. There's lots of pictures taken. I mean, I'm still not. That didn't narrow it down much. Oh, you believe she's dead? Okay, all right. I mean, I point out that their methods of identification are flawed, like that tooth. It's like a tooth isn't going to gain mass in a fire. So, no, that doesn't work, Anyway. The blots on Cuss Road. The black blotches. Some body's bones were there. And TH is not seen or anything since. The fat crotch used two different theories to convict two different people means he has no idea what happened to her. I agree. What about Cuss Road? They never said what happened there, did they? They sure didn't want the dogs out. Well, there's a number of things. Like there was the spot of strange earth that they ended up bringing Ertl and his team over to excavate. That ended up being a rotten stump. So there was that. There was some issues with the burn barrels over in the deer camp, and I'm going to be going into that probably a little bit in my next video in the evidence against Stephen Avery when I talk about the bullet. The second half of the video, I'm going to go into a little bit of some strangeness with the burn barrels, the way that they were, well, the way they tracked through the evidence. Anyways, there's some interesting things to show, so I'm going to be trying to make that part of it. This is all thanks to Moving On 04, Wrecking Crew member Moving On 04, who I'm currently trying to find, but I'm having a little trouble with finding him. It's my opinion that Ryan Hillegas has all three important issues: motive, mean, and opportunity. He is the shafted X, etc. That's true. It's absolutely true. Listen to the dispatch, Millbilly says. With the $100,000 reward of anyone knowing who murdered Teresa Halbach, has anything happened so far? No. And we actually anticipate that it would probably be a week or more before anybody even attempts to, because they don't want to immediately grab it and be immediately, noticed. So we many of us have reasoned that if there is somebody out there looking to collect it, that they may wait, and they may not want to jump at it right away. Well, there was legal proof she was murdered, and as far as the legal case is concerned, she is a murder victim. If she is alive, people better quit yapping and come up with something quick, or too late. The main thing with me, the main thing with it for me is where is the crime scene? Exactly, that's another problem. Where's the crime scene? Barrel shuffle, there you go. And is there a point, Millbilly, in the dispatch calls where they say they find a burned cell phone in one of the barrels at the deer camp? If he had any confidence in his story, he would not have had her being murdered in the same manner and same place with the same weapon. Ryan is not a suspect for me. He was a jealous ex-boyfriend who thought she was alive and wanted to impress her by leading the search party. Maybe, but maybe not. Are there pictures of the rotten stump? I'm actually not sure of that. It may be months before someone comes forward. Look at the conditions for getting paid. It will be 6 months to a year of someone, if someone has absolute proof. Yes, it's found at the deer camp. Okay, I'm going to connect up with you later, Millbilly, because I'm going to need to, I think I may want to sample that. Hale's rule hasn't been law for over 200 years. So, yeah, I'm going to be very interested in that, Millbilly, for my upcoming video. So I may ask you where in particular I can find that, so that I can sample that bit. Conditions of the reward are very specific. So, like I said, and even when a person does come forward, we may not find out about it right away. It's more likely that we're going to find out about it in a motion to the court. because she's not going to talk about it until she absolutely has to, and that's when she has to tell the court. If the lies become truths, then we would know who killed her, and I think law enforcement would come clean about the real events in the investigation. The killer would be known. Possibly. They could possibly know who it was or have an inkling of it, but just ignored it, just like they did with Gregory Allen in '85. They pretty much knew it was him, but they didn't care. What's your thoughts on the missing Jody Stevens jail calls? I think it's interesting that there's missing calls between them because of the interesting little tidbits that we were able to pull out of the calls that aren't missing. So it's a serious bummer. But yeah, once again, looks like somebody may have, destroyed something. Whoops. And we'll probably get away with it. So. So I'm not sure how likely it's the police or Pam Sturm who has the original location in which she happened upon Teresa's vehicle. Found so quick. Yeah. But as I said in my last video, maybe it's not such a... maybe she didn't really need the Lord's help, Because like I said, they talk about that thing being hidden. But the fact is that the way it was on that ridge, double parked, the only car was shit all over it. I mean, stuff all over it. I mean, it stuck out like a sore thumb. And so maybe she just got lucky and walked in the right direction. Maybe. So, I don't know. You're just hiding them. Was starting to think there wasn't going to be a Sunday stream. We've been going for 50 minutes already. The state will never admit anything. They can't at this point. They're all in, as they say. Yes, they're all in. They're in for a penny. They're in for a pound. Yes, that's another way of putting it. Did KZ ever respond to the amazing parody that was done? I don't think so. Doing a timeline using audio, and I found lies. Good job, Millbilly. Well, the problem is not all of the detectives retired. Some are still around, and one is the elected sheriff. So Queso won't be open-minded. Millbilly posted dispatch date and time for you. Oh. Just do something here real quick. Sorry, folks, just making a quick note for myself. Hold on. All right. Thank you for that, Millbilly. Walked with God, pointing the way. Yeah. Did the Lavoie Finicum case happen in Wisconsin as well? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that case. Did anyone tell the Oak Jr. that you are live? I know, right? I don't see him here. He's going to be heartbroken. But Discord tells everybody, Jen. Discord tells everybody, or at least it gives everybody a way to know anytime I upload or schedule a live. Discord tells on me every time. Jail call that's missing is 11-3. Oh, is that what you were saying there? Oh, that's the jail call missing? Oh, okay. We only have the 5:37 p.m. call to the Dolores house. Oh, okay. All right. He was just asked 15 minutes after you end. I know, right, Jen? Yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah, right? And I told him yesterday, if you're good, maybe today. So here I am. He missed out. Let's see. But I can answer anything I can for you. Actually, just what day of the dispatch do I, or whatever it is, where I can see where they found the burned cell phone in a deer camp barrel. That's what I want to add that to my next video. So, all right. Well, we're getting right around the hour mark. You got that? All right. I'll tell you what. I'll send you a message, Millbilly, and we'll figure that out. I just want to get that one clip because when I'm talking about the musical burn barrels, essentially, I want to be able to point that out as well because I think that will be interesting. Yep. But balancing a real life job and YouTube and this kind of stuff, it also, makes you strong, makes you, it hones you, sharpens you. On 11/7? Okay. Alright, well, I'll have to go and check into that. And thank you everybody for being here. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already. Once again, I want to promote Mr. Capaldi. Those of you who haven't been checking him out recently, he's been doing some really good videos, really thought-provoking stuff. Him and I are going to be covering the Luke Mitchell case, which is a case over there in the UK. A similar situation like to what happened to Brendan, and that sort of stuff. So him and I are going to be venturing into that. We were supposed to have a conference call today where we were supposed to be talking with some folks, and I had a terrible night and was up all night, and I ended up sleeping too late and totally missed it. I feel terrible about it. But we're going to be getting into that case, covering that case, talking about that case. And you guys all know how I feel about wrongful convictions of youth. So, so we're going to be looking into that. Everybody check out Linda Kay. Check out Reporting Live from My Sofa. Check out Denise Rainey. Check out Ali Apperson. Check out all those people. Check out everybody. Toxic Bliss, who is very close with Reporting Live from My Sofa. That's Paul. So all those folks, go check them out. Lots of interesting content for you guys. Hopefully, little different flavor from each one of us. Hopefully that's something that helps keep it interesting for everybody. And yes, I did see that Linda uploaded something about the Luke Mitchell case today. And I'm going to probably be going to check that out myself. So yeah. The interesting thing about the Luke Mitchell case is that, unlike O'Kelly, Luke Mitchell's polygraph administrator. He actually 100% believes in Luke's innocence, and he believes that what's happened to him is an absolute travesty. So that's one thing where him and Brendan have a slight difference, But anyway, we're going to be covering that. We're going to be looking into that. So, hey, there's Mr. Capaldi. I was just telling everybody about Luke Mitchell, buddy. And I was also telling everybody they need to go check out your channel. Been doing some good videos lately. Some interesting ones, thought-provoking. And we like it when you get after Ken Kratz or Charles Darwin. Cool, Linda. Awesome. We'll be probably checking that out. All right. That's about it for tonight, folks. Let's see. Maybe we go out on another Stacy song. What do you think, huh? How about Justice Slowly Disappears? Remember, everybody, please hit subscribe.
Oh, Stephen Avery, Brandon Dassey, the case will bring you to tears. Once you dive in, you can go deep, it seems painfully clear. How the state pled their case on the press conference day for all to hear. Convicting two innocent men on evidence that now disappears. We got lawyers talking, we got lawyers touring, they're traveling miles and miles. We got viewers viewing, we got people scouring, poring over case files. We got a lawyer tweeting, we got judges cheating, playing smoke and mirror. All the while, two innocent men's lives, they slowly disappear. Do a favor for me, forget everything that the state has told. You got to understand, this case goes well beyond Avery Road.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, if you ever see the signs of tyranny, either far or near, if you turn away, it's your own freedom, your own justice that will disappear.
All right. Thank you for being here, everybody. We'll see you next time. Look forward to my next video with the evidence against Stephen Avery, focusing on the magic bullet. And look forward to other stuff coming up here soon. Like I said, Fenn's 80 More Things podcast. We got some exciting things to be excited about. So hope everybody's paying attention, and we're going to have some real fun and interesting content moving forward. We'll see you guys.